So this section over here is composed of a very simple image, as well as a headline, a separator, and over here you can see we have some text. So it's not a very complicated thing over here. So let me zoom out like this. Let me go back to my website here, and I'm going to go ahead and click Edit with Elementor. Okay, so click Edit with Elementor, and then of course scroll down to the bottom of the page, right? So scroll down. Now here is where we're going to do all the magic. Now we have a background image already present there, so we're going to change that. We're going to change it to this. But this time I'm more interested to make this stand out a little bit, right? So I have an idea. I have an idea, which is I'm going to take this person here and I'm going to make him a real person, right? A real person standing here with kind of an animation. So let me go over here and try to figure how I can do this. Now here we have this column, and on this column we have these elements. Now if I click this element, it's on the side, right? So alignment, it's on the left. And if I go to style here, advanced, right? Let me see what they did here. So position, default. Now normally, because this is just one column, normally this is not how stuff should figure. But anyways, I have a solution around this. And so I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I'm going to go ahead as well, delete this. And of course, I'm going to delete this as well. Delete this as well. And you can see now that this is just one column. So I'm going to go ahead to this column. I'm going to delete it. And now we have a default column. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to click the plus button to have two columns. Or instead, I'm just going to click here and duplicate, since that didn't work. So now we have two columns. On one column, I'm going to have an image. And on another column, I'm going to have my headline, right? So I'm going to go add a heading over here. And of course, we have the separator. So I'm going to scroll to the top because I want the same separator. So I'm going to duplicate this very separator here. So duplicate. Actually, I want to duplicate it. So I clicked on edit instead of duplicate, but now I duplicated it. And I can right now take it. Make sure that you hold and scroll down here and just drag it here, right? So now we have the divider. And of course, the next thing is the paragraph. So I'm going to go over here, click on the 9 dots, look for a paragraph. So we have this text editor block, drag and drop it. And there you go. We have a paragraph. Okay. So now things are fine. Let's go ahead and build this. Now here, you can notice that this is mission statement. So let me just copy this because I don't want to write it. I'm going to come back over here and click on this. Then change this, of course, to mission statement. And I'm going to go here to style. Now here, I'm going to style this a little bit differently in terms of size, but I'm going to leave the font as it is. So I'm going to go to here to typography. Now in terms of typography, let's make it just a little bit bigger, 40. And let me go back to content, make sure that this is centered instead of aligned left. And I'll go to ChatGPT right now. So I urge you to open your ChatGPT session. All right, so here I am on my ChatGPT Plus. I'm already on a new chat. And so I'm going to say hi, kind of just like saying hi. And I'm going to say, I have a news blog and I need you to prepare a small paragraph detailing the mission of my website. And I need you to make it emotional. Because we know that mostly we people take decisions based on emotions. And so I always emotionalize my copywriting to make it more relatable. Okay, so now it's writing this paragraph. It seems to be a big paragraph, but let me just copy it since we have no problem with the size of the paragraph. So I'm going to click here. And instead of this lorem ipsum text, I'm just going to paste my text. Only thing is that here, the text is black. So we're going to have to change it to a white color because we want it to appear. And there you go. So right now we have our mission statement. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and click on the section. I'm going to go to style. And here we have this image that we need to modify. So this image's size is 1920 by 800 pixels. And so of course, I'm going to go to Canva as usual. And I'm going to create a new Canva template with exactly this size over here because I want to make sure that this is the size that we're going to use. So it's going to be 1920 by 800 pixels. Let me go here, click on custom size, 1920 by 800 pixels. I'm going to click on create new design. And of course, let me go right now and get an image from here. So here, we are seeking an image that has something to do with news, and it should have a place where our journalists can stand on. So here, let me go here to news. Right. To be precise, we need a stage. We need a stage for our journalists to stand on. Like this one, but since we have used this one for the homepage, I don't want to use it another time. So I think this one right here would do. Now you might think, well, the colors don't match. Well, we can make them match because we can add an overlay. If not, maybe we can add this, but this, I don't think it will do well. So let me just keep exploring. Maybe we can find something here as interesting as we want. So let me just keep scrolling here. Scroll. All right, so we have a bunch of images, but I don't think we will find any, right? So this one here will do. Now, the only thing here is that I want to switch the plate, because if you go back to the website, you should notice that right here, right? So let me just close this. Right here is where we have the person standing, and this is where we should have the person standing. And so this image is not doing us any favor because it is favoring the right side. So I'm going to click on it and position it, or just flip the image. I'm going to flip it horizontally for the plateau to be shown on the left-hand side instead of the right-hand side. I'm going to set the image as a background. Of course, I'm going to take the image and yeah, so I'm going to edit the photo, kind of like drag and drop it to the top to make sure that the plate shows up in a more distributed way like this. And I have my image. So now let me go ahead and download this very image. I can add an overlay using Canva, but I prefer to add it with WordPress, right? So I have my image now. So let me go ahead and instead of this image, let us choose this new image. And remember that we have to keep everything flowing, right? The blue color should be the dominant color of the website, since that also is a part of our logo color. And of course, everything in our website is kind of blue. So we have to make sure that everything flows. Now, there's already some blue in this image, but we can make it better. Now here, notice that we have an overlay. So I'm going to scroll down here and click background overlay. And instead of this dark overlay, I'm going to add a blue overlay. Kind of like this. I think this is better, right? Blue overlay, and it matches the other colors. And so now let's go ahead and get the image of our model. Now the model wouldn't be so difficult to find. Let me first of all go here to Canva, and I'm going to open up a new Canva tab of 512 by 512 pixels, create a new design, and we have a lot of images, so I'm just going to look for a journalist. And of course, I think we're going to have to use DALL-E 2 to complete the image, since the image that we're going to have is not a full image of a full body person. Now here, if I click elements, let me search for news reporter. Let me go to photos, since we're only using photos. And over here, I kind of like this image of this guy. So I'm going to crop it from here, crop it from here, crop it from here. And I'm going to set this image as a background. Right, you can see that when we set it up as a background, it's not really doing us any favor. So let me just go back, detach image. I'm just going to make it just a little bit bigger, like this, like this. This is to the extent of what we can do, and I'm going to crop it, right? So I'm going to crop it from here and put the guy right here, and then I'm going to download this with a transparent background. And let's go now to DALL-E. So open up a DALL-E window. Now, even if you have a free DALL-E account, you'll still benefit from, I think, around 50 free credits that you get. And so that will do. You don't need to buy their credits. So let's open up DALL-E and let's complete this image. And after that, I'll remove the background off of it, and we'll have a whole person. Now I'm going to upload the image of my reporter. right? Since that's what I have to do. There you go. This is my image. I'm going to skip cropping, and this is it. So I'm going to click this, and then I'm going to take my generation frame, place it all over the person. I'm going to come here and say news reporter, and I'm going to generate. So now what this is going to do, it's going to generate the missing part of this person, right? So it's going to give us an entire person. Of course, it will give us 4 variations, and we'll have to pick one of those variations as our choice. So we have this variation. You can see that the shoes are missing, so we'll have to complete that. I can click this one here as well. We have this one as well, and we have this one as well. So I would go with this one here, but we would have to complete the image, right? So let me accept. I'll take an eraser and I'll erase this part because it's not done well. I'll erase this part where text is. I'll erase this part as well. And I will say something like, here, I'm going to add a comma and say no text, no objects, to make sure that it understands that we want no text and no objects. And I'm going to take a new generation frame and I'm going to place it again right here and click on generate. So now it should give us the full picture of the person. Right, so now we have this picture. Let's try this. I think this one is good, but let me see some other ones. All right, so I'll just go back to the second one. I think this one is good. So I'm going to accept this. And so right now we have the picture of our guy. I'm going to just click the download button. Then I'm going to go back here to Canva. And yeah, I'm going to delete this guy. And now we have our main guy with a complete picture. I'm going to upload him. I'm going to go over here to downloads. And this is the DALL-E generated image. I'm going to click on it. And of course, there you go. We have the image of our guy. So I'm going to click here on this image. I'm going to click edit photo. And here, BG remover to remove the background. Now here I can see there are some new tools that came out. I'm going to try them later. But here I'm going to just crop this a little bit. Crop it from here. Crop it from here. And click. And then I'm going to click on the person. Click on flip. Flip horizontally to show his hands on this side pointing to the text, right? And I'm going to go back and download this image. But first of all, I'm going to have to make it just a little bit bigger. Let me keep cropping. Crop from here as well. And let me just make the person just a little bit bigger. Center and download. Of course, I'm going to download this with a transparent background. And you can see now the power of artificial intelligence. How it permits you to do stuff that we weren't able to do before. I'm going to click on my image. I'm going to choose a new image. And you guessed it, I'm going to choose the image of the guy. And I'm going to force him to stand on the platform. So here, click, and we have the image, insert. And so you have our guy, except for this image right here is movable. So I'm going to click here, and here, attachment default. So now this image will not move. And so I can take this person, click on him, and when it comes to advanced options, I'm going to go and margin, unlink values, and at the top, I'm going to add a margin of, let's say, 50. Let's try 50 and see how that works. Now you can see right now he's kind of going in there. Let me add 100. And so now he's completely standing on the platform, right? So it looks like he's standing on the platform with his hand pointing there. And I can get him closer to the text. So I can go here. Now we want to add a minus, or we want to add more space between him and the left-hand side. So I'm going to go for, let's say, 100 on the left. And he's getting closer, right? So I think this is enough. So I'm going to click on update. And I think we've done a pretty good job right now with this section. So if I visualize how this looks, it doesn't look too bad. And after that, after a while, I can basically add an animation to animate this person, right? So don't worry about that. Now I can get this text a little bit closer to him, maybe. So if I click on this entire column here, I'm going to go to advanced. I'm going to go to margin. And on the left-hand side, I'm going to add a negative margin, minus 40, for example. This is pretty good. If I see how this looks like, I think this is pretty good. Mission statement. Maybe the mission statement needs to grow bigger. I don't know about you guys. Maybe I need to get this a little bit bigger. Let me click style. Instead of 40, let's make it 50. Right, 50. I don't know if we can find an emoji for missions, but let me go to title here, and instead of the point or dot, I'm going to go for a rocket emoji. I think this will do as a good emoji. Mission statement, well, let's just leave it in line and click on update. So now we have created our mission statement section. Let's go ahead, and all that's left on the home page is to add this section right here, which is the About Us section, which is equally easy. But you can see over here we have this little button that we have almost forgot. So let me go ahead and add that. Now, in order to do this, I have an option. I can click this button right here, click on duplicate, and I can just drag and drop it to the bottom here. Place my button here. So I have my button here down below, centered, exactly where I want it to be. And I can link this to a page if I want to, but we'll leave the linking to after, not now. So now let me go ahead and do one more thing. So here, I think we should add a tilt. So if you remember here, the tilt from the previous section, if I click and if I go to style, if I scroll down, the shape divider at the bottom, tilt, opacity, height 25. All right, so here, let me just do the same thing for this one. Click, style, scroll down, shape divider, go to bottom, tilt, opacity, and in terms of height, I'll make it 25. And I think this is pretty good. I'll do the same thing with this as well. So I'm going to click on this other section, go to style, scroll down, shape divider, bottom, tilt, opacity, and of course make it 25. Yep, and I think we've done a pretty good job here. Now it doesn't appear for some reason, so I'm going to click on this one here, this other section, scroll down, shape divider, top, tilt, opacity, and let's make it 25. 25, right? So 25 here and here as well. So I'm going to click at the bottom as well. Click bottom. Let me go to tilt, opacity. Over here on height, make it 25, and there you go. Now let's go ahead and build our About Us section and continue to build our blog.